Have you ever wondered why Marcus Aurelius warned himself every morning that he would meet people who were deceitful, arrogant, and malicious? He wasn't being negative. He was preparing his mind. Because nothing is more exhausting than being blindsided by an evil person pretending to be good. And if you've ever been betrayed, lied to, or used, you already know the pain. Today, we're going to talk about clear signs that you're dealing with an evil person, so you can protect your peace and keep your mind unshaken. But before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps this channel grow and keeps us walking together on this stoic path. Number 1, they twist the truth. Evil people rarely confront you directly. Instead, they distort reality. They might lie with a smile, mix a little truth with falsehood, or leave out key details to control how you see things. This is how they slowly manipulate your perception, making you doubt your own memory and judgment. Stoicism teaches us to value reason above all, and nothing attacks reason more than lies wrapped in charm. If you've ever left a conversation feeling confused instead of clear, there's a good chance you were dealing with someone who deliberately twisted the truth. That's not a mistake, it's a strategy. Evil people thrive when you can't trust your own thoughts. Marcus Aurelius warned us, "If someone could show me I'm wrong, I will gladly change." But the evil person never wants a show, they want a cloud. The danger here is subtle. When you start adjusting your behavior around their distortions, you slowly give away your freedom. You may find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do, or doubting what you saw with your own eyes. That is their victory, not winning an argument, but stealing your confidence. The antidote is to stay grounded. Write things down. Trust what you know. And when in doubt, remember, reality doesn't need twisting, only lies do. If someone's words always leave you confused, they might not be deep, they might just be deceptive. And no, it's not because you're bad at understanding people. It's because you're dealing with someone who doesn't want to be understood. Number 2, they exploit your kindness. Here's a hard truth. Evil often wears the mask of need. Some people notice your kindness and see it as an opportunity, not a blessing. They ask for favors, emotional support, or resources, and at first, it feels like you're just being a good friend. But pay attention. If it's always one-sided, you're being drained, not valued. Stoicism reminds us that virtue lies in balance. Helping others is noble, but not when it destroys your own peace. Seneca once said, "You should give as a person with good sense, not as a person with weakness." Evil people test your limits. They'll see how much you're willing to bend, then they'll keep bending you until you break. And here's the kicker. They often guilt trip you when you hesitate. You'll hear lines like, "I thought you cared," or "You're the only one I can count on." They don't respect your generosity, they weaponize it. Kindness to them is not a gift. It's a door to walk through without knocking. The simple test is this. Do they give back when they can? Not necessarily with money, but with presence, gratitude, or effort. If not, then they're not weak, they're selfish. And you're not their friend, you're their battery. Don't confuse exploitation with compassion. You're not heartless for setting boundaries. You're wise for protecting your soul. Number 3, they delight in chaos. Some people seem allergic to peace. They stir drama, spread rumors, or pit people against each other. Not because they have to, but because they enjoy it. Evil people thrive in disorder because chaos makes them harder to detect. When everything around you feels unstable, it becomes easier for them to pull strings in the shadows. Epictetus said, "When you are disturbed by external events, it's not the events that upset you, but your judgment of them." Evil people exploit this principle by creating constant disturbances. They want you reactive, emotional, and distracted. Why? Because a calm mind is their greatest enemy. You might notice that problems seem to follow them wherever they go. But if you step back, you'll realize problems don't follow them. They carry problems like a suitcase, and then they unpack them in your living room. At some point, you have to ask yourself, is this person unlucky, or are they simply planning storms on purpose? Here's a little humor in this heavy truth. You ever meet someone who turns a peaceful dinner into a courtroom drama? That's not bad luck, that's talent. Don't mistake it. Evil people are not clumsy, they're skilled at chaos. Protect your calm the way a warrior protects his shield. Without calm, you're defenseless. Number 4, they lack genuine empathy. We all know someone who listens to your pain only to redirect the conversation back to themselves. But with an evil person, it's more than self-centeredness, it's emptiness. They don't truly care about how you feel, only how they can use your feelings. A Stoic knows that empathy is part of our shared humanity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, we are made for each other. Evil people reject this truth. When you're suffering, they see opportunity. When you're happy, they feel threatened. It's not that they can't understand emotions. They choose to weaponize them instead of honor them. You'll notice this in small ways. When you're vulnerable, they dismiss you or mock you. When you succeed, they downplay it. And if you confront them, they flip the script and make themselves the victim. This isn't misunderstanding, it's manipulation. Humor helps here. If someone congratulates you for your success with the same enthusiasm as someone saying, your package has been shipped, don't expect warmth later. Evil people don't clap for you because your growth reminds them of their emptiness. Don't beg for empathy where there is none. It's like asking a stone to cry. Number 5, they show no respect for boundaries. This sign is the most obvious yet most overlooked. Evil people do not respect boundaries. Whether it's your time, your space, or your values, they see your no as an obstacle to climb over, not a limit to respect. In Stoic practice, boundaries are sacred. Epictetus said, keep your will in harmony with nature. That includes respecting the natural space of others. Evil people, however, live as if the world owes them access to everyone's life. They knock once, and if you don't open, they break the door. You might think setting clear boundaries will fix the problem, but with them, it often escalates things. They push harder, test more, and try to make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. Why? Because control, not connection, is their goal. Here's the truth. A person who truly cares will honor your limits. A person who disrespects them is telling you plainly, they don't see you as an equal, but as a possession. And if you don't draw the line, they will draw it for you, wrapping it around your freedom. Protect your boundaries like your life depends on it, because your peace surely does. Number 6, they pretend to be the victim. One of the most dangerous traits of an evil person is their ability to flip the script. No matter what harm they cause, they'll find a way to make themselves the victim. They might cry, exaggerate, or blame circumstances, anything to avoid accountability. Stoicism teaches us to accept responsibility for our choices, but evil people run from it as if it were fire. This tactic works because it disarms good people. You might feel guilty for pointing out their wrongs, or even start comforting the very person who hurt you. It's a mental trap, and once you fall for it, they can repeat their behavior without consequence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. But the evil person knows how to make you feel like the enemy, even when you're the one who's been wronged. Here's the problem. When someone constantly plays the victim, they're not just avoiding responsibility, they're manipulating your empathy. They weaponize your compassion, making you hesitant to protect yourself. You begin to question if you're being too harsh, when in reality, you're just defending your dignity. And let's add some humor. Some people can cause a disaster in your life and still cry louder than the fire alarm. Don't fall for it. Real victims seek healing. Fake victims seek control. Learn the difference, or you'll always be apologizing for storms they created. Number 7, they isolate you from others. Evil rarely works in the open. It prefers shadows. One way malicious people gain control is by isolating you. They subtly cut off your connections, making you depend more and more on them. At first, it may look like innocent advice. Don't trust that person, or they don't really care about you. But over time, you realize your circle is shrinking. Stoicism emphasizes community. Marcus Aurelius said, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings none to the bee." Evil people know this too, which is why they separate you from your hive. Because once you're alone, you're easier to manipulate. This is especially dangerous in relationships. A partner who discourages you from seeing friends, visiting family, or pursuing your goals is not protective. They're controlling. The more isolated you become, the less perspective you have. And without perspective, you start seeing their distorted reality as the only reality. Here's the irony. They'll claim they're protecting you from others, while in truth, they're only protecting their influence over you. If you've ever had someone say, "You don't need anyone but me," remember, that's not love, it's ownership. Even Wi-Fi knows you need connection. Why let someone convince you otherwise? Number 8, they never admit fault. Everyone makes mistakes. The difference between a virtuous person and an evil one is how they handle it. A good person will acknowledge their wrongs, apologize, and try to improve. An evil person, on the other hand, will deny, deflect, or even blame you for their mistakes. To them, admitting fault feels like death. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Evil people live in that delusion. They can never grow because they can never be wrong. And if you dare point out their faults, prepare for retaliation. They might mock you, attack your character, or suddenly remember all your flaws. The danger is that you start doubting yourself. You begin thinking, maybe I overreacted, or maybe it really is my fault. That's exactly where they want you, taking responsibility for their behavior. Over time, you carry both your mistakes and theirs, while they walk free of guilt. Humor moment. Arguing with someone who never admits fault is like trying to beat a cat at ignoring phone calls. It's impossible. Don't waste your breath. If someone can't say, "I was wrong," then you'll never hear, "I'll do better." And that means you'll never have peace with them. Number 9, they show double faces. Evil people are masters of masks. Around others, they might appear generous, kind, and charming. But in private, they show their true colors, cold, cruel, or dismissive. This double life confuses you, because everyone else only sees the good version. You start wondering if maybe you're the problem. Marcus Aurelius urged himself to be the same man in public and private, to live with integrity. Evil people do the opposite. They split themselves, giving the world a polished image while using you as their punching bag. This is why so many victims struggle to get others to believe them, because evil often hides behind charm. It's easy to underestimate this danger. When someone treats you badly but shines in front of others, you begin to question reality itself. That's how manipulation works. Not by force, but by making you doubt your own perception. Here's the humor. They can be smiling saints at dinner, then turn to full-time villains the moment the door closes. It's like living with 2 actors in one body, except you never bought a ticket for this horror movie. Remember, consistency is character. If they treat others better than they treat you, believe their private self, not their public mask. Number 10, they feel no genuine guilt. Perhaps the clearest sign of an evil person is their lack of remorse. They can hurt you deeply, yet carry on as if nothing happened. No apology, no reflection, no change. They might even laugh about it or justify it with cold logic. To them, pain is not sacred. It's entertainment or strategy. Seneca said, "The greatest freedom is to be free from guilt." Evil people twist this. They don't feel guilty, not because they are free, but because they are empty. They lack the moral compass that makes us human. While the Stoic works to live in harmony with virtue, the evil person feels no pull toward virtue at all. This absence of guilt is dangerous because it means nothing restrains them. They don't feel bad, so they don't stop. They don't care about consequences to others, so they continue without hesitation. And you may find yourself waiting endlessly for an apology that will never come. A little humor here. Asking an evil person for an apology is like asking a wolf for a salad. It's just not in their nature. Don't wait for guilt to change them. Accept what you see. If they can harm without remorse, that's all the sign you need. Evil is not always loud, violent, or obvious. More often, it's subtle, strategic, and hidden in plain sight. These additional signs, playing the victim, isolating you, refusing fault, wearing masks, and lacking guilt, are not just red flags, they are warnings to guard your soul. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control who we meet, we can control how we respond. Recognize these patterns early, and you'll protect your peace, your freedom, and your dignity. Remember, your mind is your fortress. Don't let anyone sneak inside.